Okay, I want to talk about the relationship dynamics of a non emotional and an emotional person in human design. Let's pull up the chart. Okay, this is my chart. I am a projector. As you can see, no sacral center definition there. And I don't have my emotional center defined. That's the center right here. As you can probably guess, the emotional center rules are emotions. And defined, undefined doesn't mean that you can or can't feel emotions. When you have an undefined emotional center, it just means that the emotions that you feel are more coming from external inputs. And this is my boyfriend's chart. He is a manifesting generator with a defined emotional center. It's colored in. So people who have defined emotional centers or emotional beings in human design go through very regular ups and downs of emotions. So they're constantly on what we call in human design the emotional wave. And it looks very different for everyone because every human is different, every chart is different. But your specific emotional wave is based on what channel you have. So they're all very different, but every person who has a defined emotional center will go through unexplainable highs and lows. Their lives could be completely amazing, nothing bad going on, and they could still be going through emotional lows. So that's actually my inspiration for posting this today because for the last 24-ish hours, my boyfriend has been in an emotional low. And as someone who's non-emotional and doesn't really know what it's like to just be in a low, I have the feminine urge to be like, are you mad at me? All the time. And I have to resist it. Because since my emotional center is undefined, I pick up the emotions around me and amplify them. So when he is in a bad mood, which is not necessarily about anything or a bad thing or something I need to fix, I feel it because I take that in and then amplify it. So then I really feel it. This is why having the language and understanding of human design is so important in relationships, as with every aspect of your life. Because since I know that I take in the emotions around me, especially the ones of those closest to me, my partner, and amplify them, I know that I can just kind of take that in as, oh, something's happening. Not as, oh, this is happening, I need to fix it, it's my fault, and kind of go down that anxiety spiral of oh my God, he's in a bad mood, so he's mad at me. It's something I did. Because I know human design, I can separate myself from it and know that it's perfectly natural for him to have days that just feel lower and him to have days that feel higher on the emotional scale. So if you haven't looked up your human design yet and you have similar dynamics where you feel like you need to fix everyone's moods around you and everything feels like your fault when someone's in a bad mood, you just might be like me and have an undefined emotional center and be amplifying everyone's emotions around you. And because you don't have that defined center, you don't know that it's perfectly normal for other people, which actually is 50% of the population has defined emotional centers. So half of the people around you, it's perfectly normal for them to just be in a bad mood one day for the hell of it, not explain in an unexplained way, or to be in a really good mood and not have a reason why. And that's also not to say that external factors don't matter here, because if you grew up in a really traumatic environment and you were, you needed to be perfect to keep your household at homeostasis, that type of thing, or maybe abusive relationship, anything like that, you could still have a defined emotional center and have picked up on those behaviors. There's always a lot of nuance to look at with human design because so much goes into it. But if you're like me and you have a similar dynamic with your partner where sometimes they'll just be in a bad mood and it feels like your fault and you constantly have the urge to be like, are you mad at me? It might just be the dynamics of having a undefined emotional center with someone who has a defined emotional center.